Danny from Empowered Creative. I wanted to take a few minutes today to take a look at a tool that we've all probably become extremely familiar with, and that's Zoom. And the reason I want to take a look at it today is because I still see people having some issues using certain elements on Zoom. And so for today's first video, and the first of a series of videos here, we're just going to look at the very simple interface once you log in, how to create a meeting, how to make recurring meetings, and how to also join a meeting when somebody sends you a code. There are several ways to do many of the same things with Zoom, and a lot of times people get confused. So let me just begin with this to start out with. If you get an email with a link in it, it's probably the easiest way to log in to a Zoom meeting. If somebody sends you the link and you click the link, everything automatically pops up for you. If you get an email that has a meeting number followed by a password, that is probably the most confusing way to send a meeting code to somebody in my experience. So the first thing I would say is if you're running a meeting in Zoom, do everybody a favor and just send them the link. And then when they get into the room, you have the ability to admit them into the room as the host. So let's take a look at this interface here today. And I'm going to bring over my window here. And we're going to take a look here. Let's go back to this home page for Zoom. It's got a couple of options here. You can start a new meeting. You can join an already started meeting. You can schedule a meeting. And you can share your screen. So for me, in my experience, what I have done most of the time has been start a new meeting. And so when you click the start a new meeting, it's automatically going to pop up and ask you to join with your audio, which you want to do. And then you want to turn on your video once you're in the room. And now you can see I'm not only down here talking to you, but I'm on Zoom and I am talking to you as well. So that's one way that you can get into a Zoom meeting. And then you can do some things from there if you want to invite people. And I'm just going to move myself up here where you can actually come right here to invite and go to copy. And you can invite people with a copy invitation via email. So let's back out of that and check out. We're going to end this meeting. And here is join a meeting. So if you have the join a meeting code, this is where, and this happens for me like in my networking group. We have a recurring meeting every week. They have sent me the meeting ID. I go in there, I put everything in, and then I go and I join the meeting. But this is where you can put that meeting ID in there. Hit join. Once you join into the room, it may ask you for a password, or it might just say, "Hey, the host is waiting." They'll let you in as soon as they'll let you in as soon as they kind of see the little pop up that comes up. So that's the next way that you can join. And you also have options down here for connecting audio or not. Sometimes when you join a room, you're not quite ready to show yourself on camera. And so you might want to turn off the video right off the bat. So that way you kind of join the room and then you're able to get yourself together. Sometimes you want to get into the room early to make sure you're in there, to make sure everything's working correctly with your internet, or maybe with your camera or your microphone. So this is just a nice option. I'm glad Zoom has it, because I know there are times when I get into a meeting room maybe 15 minutes early. I'm not ready to start talking to people yet, but I want to be in there, because when that number, when the clock hits, the time when we're supposed to start the meeting, I want to make sure that I'm present and ready for the meeting. So the next one is to schedule a meeting, and I've used this one, quite a lot as well. And this is probably my favorite feature. So especially during COVID right now, where we've had recurring meetings, this is a great option. And so what you can do is you can schedule your meeting in here, and then you can click recurring meeting. And I'll show you what this does for you. But what's really awesome about that is, really you can leave the rest of this alone, because what we're going to do, we'll save this. We'll say this is Empowered Creative Zoom meeting, and we'll go over. And one of the things it wants to do is put it in your calendar. Feel free to do that if you want to, or if you don't. That's not a huge thing. But then if you go over here to the meetings part, right here is my Empowered Creative Zoom meeting. So that's pretty cool. And then every single time I log into Zoom, so I'll kind of come back here from the beginning. This meeting is going to be here. And so I use Zoom for multiple things. And you can see I have multiple different recurring things. And when I send the invitation out to somebody, so right here I can just copy the invitation. I can go to my email, paste that into the email, and fire it off to whoever I want to have that meeting with. But the really cool thing about it is I don't have to keep sending an invitation every single week with this feature. If I have a recurring meeting with somebody, that same invitation works week after week. And so that's really helpful so that every week you don't have to come on here and come to the homepage and hit new meeting. You have a recurring meeting every single week right here in Zoom. So that's it for this video. I hope that's helpful, and I hope that helps you to navigate just kind of the beginning part of Zoom. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave something in the comment section, or get in contact with me, and we will be sure to answer any questions you have about this just beginning part of how to use Zoom. Take care, guys.